The first question we've got this week is, what should I do when my child is refusing to do things they love? Now, a lot of kids will refuse or avoid when they're feeling anxious. Now, a lot of our kids feel more anxious than average. So our kids have higher anxiety in general because the world doesn't make as much sense. When their development is delayed or different, the world can't meet them as well. So when our child is refusing and you're going, but I know you really want to go to the beach. You love the beach. Why? Why are things exploding in this way? Or I know that you want to go see that person. They're a special person to you. I don't understand why your behavior has come out like this, or you're running away and hiding. It's usually, but not always, but often it's anxiety, and it can be overwhelming for them. They might not be able to organize themselves, and that can trigger anxiety. They might be worried about what might happen when they get there. It might just be too much at this moment. So what we really are doing there is we're looking at what's underneath. What is beneath this expression of behavior, of this refusal that you're seeing? What's going on for your child? And when we start to look inside, it's often to do with that they're struggling to feel okay in their body, and they're struggling to feel calm and know what to do with themselves and how to move forward. So what we can do is we can really look at ways to help them to feel safer, to help them to feel calmer, and we can really help to problem solve. Now, sometimes we're in the midst of we have to go moment. We can't always teach in that moment or grow and learn in that moment. That moment is for bringing the anxiety down, for bringing in calm. And then once they're calm, and sometimes it's really hard because we do have outside pressures like time limits, but it's not the time to bring anything new in. So once they're calm and you don't have time limits and you're not rushing anywhere, we can actually start to unpack what was going on for your child and maybe discuss about putting some things in place that could help them. So if they were worried about being organized, what are some things that work for your child that help them to get organized when they're about to go somewhere? If they're worried that they're going to be out and about, say at the mall, and then they might get a panic attack or they might feel overwhelmed, what's an exit plan? How can we help them to feel back into control? And how can we make them really be able to lead their regulation or their strategies as much as appropriate for their development and for where they're at? So really having these conversations around how can we help you to achieve what you want to be able to do, rather than telling them off, because that's what most parent strategies are about, is telling them off when they behave poorly. But really going, hey, I noticed that you're behaving in a way that was really pushing away going to the party or going to the mall or going to the beach, that you were doing these things and I'm a bit confused, or I want to help you and I don't know how, or do you have any ideas of what might work for you? Now, if your child is able to have that journey with you, that really helps to shift and put them back in control. And then that leads to them, often years later. It doesn't happen very quickly from my experience, but for some kids, they really absorb that. They can then start to implement these sorts of strategies and these ways of thinking as they grow older and grow up into adulthood, that they can go, whoa, that was huge. I just had a big panic attack over that. Now, what am I going to do next time? What do I need to put in place? What's that care for myself that's going to go in before I go out? What do I need to, put my ducks in a row so I feel okay about going out? And maybe I need something when I get home too to decompress. I might need to do my really favourite activities that help me to feel okay. So I need to actually allow 6 hours to do a 3-hour outing. So these are the sorts of processes that we can aim towards with our kids, so that when they're a bit older, we can also feel that bit of assurance that they're going to have strategies that they can help themselves. They're not going to be so reliant on other people as we get older. So we can work on specific strategies, but also when our kids are really anxious, we need to work on overall mental health and well-being and regulation. So often our kids might start refusing everything, and that's a really good sign that that they're not coping very well within themselves in general. So last time we talked a bit about a thermometer. So if we've got 0 down here and we've got 5 up here, some kids don't actually come back down to a 0 and feel all calm and regulated and engaged. A lot of kids that I support are sort of a 3. So they kind of go 5, back down to a 3, 5, 4, 3 in this kind of cycling zone. And then when they're not coming back down, that means that they can often be forever in sort of this protective, hypervigilant mode. So if our kid is refusing a lot of things a lot of the time, that's quite a tricky situation for them and for you as their parent. So they really need support for their overall regulation to come down. So they need to be able to have a lot more accommodations in terms of understanding their triggers and working on small steps of achievement. We can't be expecting them to go completely out of their comfort zone when they're never actually going back down to a 0 and feeling okay in their body. And this takes a lot of time, a lot of practice, and a lot of extra understanding as a parent. And we're not taught that as parents. We're not taught how to deal with someone who's never calm, who's never regulated. We're not taught how to parent somebody who's stuck in a 3, 4, 5 cycle. And that's a very unique thing. And it's something we really do specialize here at Dynamic Parenting. It's something that a lot of us professionals who are in this team have lived through. So we understand what it's like when a child is very heightened all of the time. And it takes super parenting, evolved parenting to be able to really support the child to heal enough to be able to come down and to be able to regulate a bit better. And this is very different depending on the child's profile, what's triggering them, where they're at, their anxiety levels and those sorts of things. So it's a big journey, but we're here with you and we're here to support you through that if that's where you're at.